Nowadays, the world is full of conflicts and chaos. The constant hospitality and disorder produce anxiety. The anxiety is so powerful that it can consume us. To overcome anxiety and to find out how people in the past deal with anxiety, I looked at street texts in the 20th century, the movie version of Orwell's 1984 by Michael Redford, Edward Munch's painting, The Scream, and REM's popular song Everybody Hurts, taking a focus on the cause of the terror, the characters' expression of their anxieties, and how they cope with their anxieties with Marxist and existentialist point of view. Before looking at the three texts, you may have this question: what are Marxism and existentialism? Briefly, Marxism is a doctrine that was started by the theorist and historian Karl Marx. The main point of Marxism is that capitalist society is divided into two classes: the bourgeoisie, who exploit workers and are in control, and the proletariat, who provides labor. When the exploitation and oppression of the bourgeoisie becomes so severe that they reach a crisis point, Marx says that the proletariat will revolt to attain equality and get rid of classes. Now is existentialism. Existentialism is also a theory that is associated with 19th and 20th century European philosophers. Existentialism is simply summed up with these questions: what is the purpose of our life? What does it mean to exist? It explores the purpose of human existence in a complex and uncertain world. Existentialism emphasizes the freedom and responsibility of individuals to create their own values and goals, rather than following external or predetermined ones. It also acknowledges crisis, dread, and anxiety resulting from that freedom and responsibility. Let's go back to the three texts. Each of the three texts reflect a different cause of anxiety. In Michael Redford's 1984, it is the totalitarian society. The movie portrays a society divided into social classes where the party represents the bourgeoisie, controlling and exploiting the lower classes. The proles are these lower classes, 85% of the population who live in the conditions of extreme poverty created by the party policies. The main character, Winston Smith, is a bureaucrat whose job is to rewrite history to support Big Brother. His fear and anxiety arise from constant surveillance by Big Brother. He hates the lack of privacy, the manipulation of truth and reality, the suppression of individuality and independent thought, and the dread of punishment for even the smallest deviation from the bourgeois ideology. He believes that there must be a revolution of the proles. In addition to 1984, The Scream by Edward Munch is interpreted as one of the most eloquent images of anxiety for the 20th century. The cause of anxiety in the painting is existential. The figure in the painting struggles to find the meaning and purpose of life in an indifferent and absurd world. Existence gives freedom, but it also gives the responsibility for determining the purpose of life, which leads to existential anxiety, existential dread, and isolation. This existential agony is also found in 1984. Under the control of the party, which seeks to manipulate everything, even Winston's beliefs and emotions, Winston struggles from the absence of the purpose of life. Similar to the other two texts, REM's song Everybody Hurts shows characters who are anxious. In fact, each one is contemplating suicide. In contrast to the other texts, the song's lyrics don't specify the cause of their suffering. However, the video shows everyone isolated from each other. They sit silently in cars stalled in traffic, with each person huddled in their own corner, which suggests alienation from each other. Comparable to 1984, where anxiety is provoked by the totalitarian society, another cause in the song that can be interpreted as the capitalist society. The people in the song can be oppressed by economic features in the society that is ruthless and cold to each other, but the song gives no hint that they are aware of social and economic differences. It's interesting that both society in 1984 and the society we live in today in Everybody Hurts can be the same in the point that they are the cause of anxiety. Next is the expression of anxiety. Throughout the three texts, characters' anxieties are reflected in a variety of ways. Most commonly, anxiety is shown through facial expressions. Needless to explain, the figure's wide-open eyes and gaping mouths in The Scream clearly demonstrates extreme anguish. This is in contrast to Michael Redford's 1984 REM song where the characters' expressionless faces indicate their misery. At the beginning of the Redford's movie, before Winston meets Julia, Winston's face is consistently impassive in many large close-ups. The flatness of his expression projects his depression in the oppressive world of Big Brother. Like Winston in 1984, the people in the cars on the blocked road in Everybody Hurts have stoic and darkened faces. It also suggests that their depression. Another expression of anxiety in the street text is body language. When Winston wakes up in the morning, he coughs a lot, with his body bent over. When he does the compulsory government exercises, he doesn't work out hard and his weak arms shake thinly. Winston's hunched and passive behavior illustrates his anxiety and fear, and his helpless body and his face show his lack of reason and purpose in life. Contrary to Winston, in the Scream, the figure's exaggerated body language, twisting his body and covering his head with his hands, communicates agony. The third text, the video for REM song, shows silent people sitting apart from each other, looking at the sky with empty eyes like Winston in their passivity, loneliness, and lack of purpose. It also uses a new device that is not in the other text, showing characters' thoughts by scrolling print on the screen. The thoughts are all suicidal, like "they're gonna miss me" and "if I had a gun," directly delivering their desperation. In the street text, the characters make various attempts to cope with anxiety. In Michael Redford's movie 1984, to overcome the party's oppression and define himself, Winston plans to be part of the Resistance, a group opposing Big Brother. But it fails because his rebellious thoughts get caught before he even starts the plan. In 1984 and Everybody Hurts, meeting people is suggested as a way to comfort anxiety. In the song Everybody Hurts, comfort is offered by advice to take comfort in friends. When the road is completely grid-rocked and cars can move an inch, people get out of their vehicles and walk together to move forward. This act suggests that meeting others, communicating and collaborating can be a solution when we suffer from existential agony. In addition to the song, Winston too tries to overcome his personal pain by having a relationship. He meets with Julia and has a secret affair with her, which the party bans. After he starts the meeting, his eyes are no longer empty, which means he finds the essence of his life. However, it too fails when he and Julia betray each other to the party. Another method that the text suggests is to accept and express anxiety. In the Scream, the figure expresses the existential anguish, pain, and alienation that it feels, using every strength to cry out. As Everybody Hurts lyrics say, since everyone experiences existential anxiety and pain, and it's okay to feel overwhelmed, it is more helpful to admit, reveal, and share anxiety than deny, suppress, and suffer alone. Through analyzing Michael Redford's 1984, Moon's The Scream, and REM's Everybody Hurts, we looked at what causes anxiety, how it is expressed, and how it is managed. With the advances of technology in the 21st century, both oppression and alienation do not disappear. We analyzed anxiety through the street text, but this is merely scratching the surface. We still don't fully understand the cause of anxiety, don't know how to express the anxiety, and don't know how to handle anxiety. Will we be able to find a way to stop and dominate anxiety, or is it really possible for us as humans?